Hi everyone and welcome to Lipstick on a Rig. Today we're going to be making this very simple 3-tiered hanging basket, and for this project I am working with size 4 medium worsted weight yarn. And you need roughly 650 yards to complete this project entirely. And I'm also working with a size H or 8 or 5mm crochet hook. And you will also need either some toggle buttons, regular buttons, or you can crochet your own, and I will link to that tutorial in the description. And we're going to begin by attaching the yarn to our crochet hook using a slip knot, and we're going to chain 46. And once you have your 46 chains, then you're going to skip your turning chain right here and diving right into the back loop only of the second chain from your crochet hook, you're going to place a single crochet. And then you're just going to place one single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch down your row. So at the end of your row, you should have a total of 45 single crochets. And when you get to the end of your row, it should look something like this. So from here, we're going to turn our work toward our tail like this. So not the normal way that you're used to turning your work, but you want to be able to access the front loops only of your original chain stitches. And all we're going to do is just dive right into our first front loop only, and we're going to place a single crochet. And this will form a really long oval because what you're going to do is just keep placing one single crochet in each of the front loops going back down your row. So at the end of your row, you should have a total of 90 single crochets. And when you get to the end of your row, what you're going to do is turn your work so that you can dive right into your first single crochet. And we're going to insert our crochet hook in the back loop only of our first single crochet. And we're going to place a single crochet there. And then we're going to place one single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch in each of our rows. So this is going to be a continuous loop pattern, which means we won't be starting and stopping our individual rows, but instead our pattern is going to act like a spiral. So we are just going to place one single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch in each of our rows until we have a total of 19 rows following this pattern. And once you have your 19 rows of single crochets in the back loop only, then we're going to create the drawstring. So you want to make sure that you've ended to where your crochet hook is on one of these edges here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a chain that goes all the way around our basket edge here. And since everyone crochets slightly different, the number of chains that you're going to need to complete this is going to vary person to person. So all you're going to do is start making a very long chain. So to make sure that you've gotten your chain to the correct length, all you're going to do is line it up with your basket like this. And you want to make sure that you're not stretching your basket or stretching your chain. So the goal is just that it sort of lays on top without being stretched at all. And once you've gotten your chain so that it goes all the way around your basket easily, then you're going to add about 15 chains. And all you're going to do is just insert your crochet hook back in that same back loop where you began your chain loop. And you're just going to yarn over and drop all the loops on your crochet hook for a slip stitch. So from here, we're going to be working in the back loops only, just like we did before. as well as over our chain stitch. And just make sure that your working yarn is not caught somewhere in your chain loop, so go ahead and make any adjustments to that you might need. So how we're going to work this is we're going to insert our crochet hook in the back loop only of our next stitch, and then we're just going to drape our chain loop over that loop like this so that we can work over it. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through the chain loop as well as our back loop only, and then we're going to yarn over and drop our 2 loops. And we're going to repeat this process in our next 21 stitches so that we have a total of 22 single crochets in the back loop only, as well as over our chain stitches like this. And once you've placed your 22 single crochets, you should be somewhere really close to the center between your 2 folds. If for some reason you're not, go ahead and adjust the number of single crochets so that it lines up with relatively the center of your project. So once you've gotten this centered, then you're just going to pull a little bit of slack out of your line like this. And this does not have to be perfect because you can adjust it later. From here, you're just going to pick right back up where you left off in your next single crochet stitch in the back loop only, and then working over your chain loop where it is. So you should have created a small chain loop like this. From here, we're just going to work in the back loop only of each stitch in our row, as well as over our chain loop until we get back to our original starting slip stitch, going all the way around our basket. And when you get to the end of your row, your pattern should look something like this. So from here, we're going to begin to work in this very last front loop. So you want to find the last one, and you're going to insert your crochet hook in that front loop, and then yarn over and drop all the loops on your crochet hook for a slip stitch. And from here, we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each of our front loops in each of our rows. So just like when we worked the body of our basket, this should act like a spiral, and so you shouldn't really have to worry about starting or stopping your individual rows. And once you've crocheted down to your last front loop, then your basket should look something like this. And so all we're going to do is just cut and tie off our yarn. So now it's time to attach whatever button you want to use. So you're going to need a strand of your yarn as well as the button. So what you want to do is pull your strap down like this so you can see relatively where this falls. And you know you want your button to sort of go like right here. And once you've pulled your 2 ends of your strand of yarn through to the inside of your basket, then you're just going to tie them together a few times. So now you're just going to repeat this twice so that you have your 3 hanging baskets. And once you've completed your 3 baskets, it's time to join them together. So we're going to begin this by attaching the yarn to our crochet hook using a slip knot. And then you're going to turn your bottom basket over so that you're working in the back of the basket. And we're going to begin near the bottom right corner of our basket. So we're going to be creating 3 rows for our joining straps. So if you want them to be right here on the edge, then you want to start on the edge, but it might look a little bit better to start them about 1 inch on the inside. So that's what I'm going to do. So I am just going to insert my crochet hook in one of the single crochet stitches about 1 inch inside of my basket. And from here, we're just going to place a single crochet. Next, we're going to skip to our next row and we're going to insert our crochet hook in one of the single crochets there. And keep in mind, you're trying to form a line. And then again, we're just going to repeat this in a line going all the way up our basket. And when you get near the top of your basket, you want to avoid working in your very, very last row. So this is the row where you crocheted over your chain. So from here, you need to decide how much space you want between your baskets. And so I am going to make a chain that is roughly that size. So I chained 12, but you can chain as many as you want. So now working in your next basket, go ahead and turn it over, and then you're going to insert your crochet hook about an inch in the second row from the bottom, just like we did in our first basket, and you're going to place your single crochet there. And from here, we're just going to repeat the process that we did for our last basket, crocheting up the back of it. And again, you want to avoid working in your last row. So from here, you're going to place your chains. So for me, that's 12 chains. And now we're just going to repeat the steps for the second basket in our third basket. And once you're done with your third basket, then you need to decide how long you want your top loop to be. And you're going to place the number of chains that you want this top loop to end up being. So I ended up chaining 60. And so from here, we're going to work on our left side, and we're going to insert our crochet hook about an inch in on the left side in our second row from the top. And we're just going to work down our basket, just like we did working up it. And when you get to your second to the last row from the bottom, then you're going to place your 12 chains or whatever number of chains you decided to go with. And again, you're just going to repeat your process of working about an inch in from the top to the bottom in your next two baskets. And when you get to the bottom of your last basket, then all you're going to do is work in your next stitch over. So you're going to place a single crochet in the stitch beside your last single crochet, and then you're going to turn your work completely around. So basically, all we're going to do for this next row is just place one single crochet in the stitch beside our previous row's single crochet stitch. Between our baskets, we're going to place our chain 12 and repeat that process for each of our baskets. And when you make it to the top of your top basket, then you're just going to chain 60 again. And once you have your 60 chains in place, then you're just going to work back down the other side of your basket, working in the stitches directly beside where you worked in your first row. And when you get to the bottom of your bottom basket, then you're going to single crochet in your next stitch and then just repeat that process going all the way back around until you get to the bottom on the other side. And when you reach the other side of your bottom basket, then we're just going to cut and tie off our yarn. But of course, you could add additional rows if you wanted your straps to be thicker. And I'm just going to hide my tails on the inside of my basket. And I recommend placing a strip of cardboard at the bottom of each of your baskets, and that will help shape them as well as add a little bit more sturdiness to the bottom of your baskets. Please let me know in the comments below if you made these and what you filled them with. Also, let me know if you ran into any issues while you were making this, and I will do my best to help you out.